Hey guys, welcome to episode 6 of Design Duels. This week I have Marco Bucci as a guest. I couldn't be more thrilled. After you watch this, be sure to check out his version of this video. He's going to do some extra special stuff and get a little deeper in his process. There will be a link in the description for that. Also, stick around for the end of the video. There will be a cool announcement. But without further ado, let's get into it. Welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks, Jake. We are back after what, 3 weeks? 3 weeks away?
Yeah. Pretty quick turnaround, actually.
It was a quick turnaround, and my life made it even tougher because I've been trying to wire up a sauna, which I've never done before.
Oh, yeah.
Like, not just the wiring, like installation, everything. So I've been like away for a bit, and then I've got my ongoing like just student stuff, and then managed to find some. Usually I do best work when like I can have like a couple days like in a row.
Yeah.
So I found that just like I finished this painting just yesterday. So I came in right at the deadline.
Yeah. Cool. I don't want to bore viewers with sauna talk, but I'll have to talk to you about that later because I'm big into that. So we'll have to touch on that.
All right.
But yeah, so I guess really briefly, we can talk about the prompt a little bit. Let's start. We'll hit play and then we'll kind of go into that.
Sure. Okay. I've got yours queued up here.
All right. You ready?
Yeah. People should know that we have not seen each other's work yet.
Correct. Yep.
Yeah. We're just going to watch the time lapse. Okay. I'm ready.
So,
oh man, this is terrible.
It is terrible. Like I feel like I guess for context, so the prompt was sort of comic book guy from The Simpsons or similar character.
Oh, I like this pose.
In a fantasy world where he's like a real wizard now. So yeah, off the bat, I was trying to find and like further context, I treated this because of your background and because like this is also something I do professionally more often, is less of a design challenge from a concept art standpoint and more of a like an illustration was the target. So like Magic the Gathering type stuff. So I really tried to more focus on just getting a cool pose and like framing versus like
that's
design.
That's exactly how I approached mine. By the way, let me interject. I love this process because I did not do any, like your thumbnailing. I specifically was like, I'm not going to thumbnail a damn thing. Sorry, I won't swear anymore. I'm not going to thumbnail a thing. I'm just going to paint from the head down and we're just going to see what happens.
Nice. Yeah.
So
I think like I really want to push dynamic gesture. So like that's why that's the main reason I tried to thumbnail a little more, is to try to like push that a little bit. I also pretty quickly found out, I'm inexperienced at drawing like more overweight characters, and it's hard to find like good reference compared to like bodybuilders.
Totally, you're right. Yep.
So I'll be making quite a bit of adjustments here, especially like trying to get more like dynamism into it, some like S curves and stuff. But
I like the is this the pose? I don't want to spoil it. Is this the pose you actually go with? Like, is this you're pretty much this? Okay.
Yeah, I'll adjust it. Like, I'll try to fine tune it, but it's like the basic pose is kind of this.
Yeah, nice. No, this is cool. Like, this is as I was working on my own, I'm like, man, I wonder what Jake's doing. It was a cool mystery box to think like some other part of the world is doing the same character, and so far we're. Not to spoil mine, but we're basically painting brothers. Like these guys could be mine and yours could be brothers so far. Let's see where you end up.
Yeah, cool. I had a ton of fun with this. This was like, I feel like I was successful just because while I was drawing this, rarely have I like heard the character's voice in my head, but like it kept like I was like I can hear this guy. Like I know what he sounds like. Maybe it was part of like the Simpsons thing we were talking about too. But I feel like this guy, when he casts a spell, he like makes his own sound effects. He's like he says the damage of like the spell. He's not just
nice,
he'll be like, oh, that was 42 damage or whatever. Like it just kind of I was cracking up the whole time I was doing this, which I think was just a good sign.
I deliver you 30 damage points.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Oh, there, nice. Oh, the clothing's coming in quick. Nice. I like the cape effect. That's crazy, man. Mine has a cape too, but it doesn't blow out like this.
Yeah, I was really trying to push like because I was trying to keep him like a little simpler, but make the shapes of the pose what like gives it energy, or like more dynamic stuff. I'm used to like when I'm doing concept art, really pushing proportions and trying to like get interest via like the shapes and the proportions. But like in this one, I wanted to try to more focus on the flow of like the shapes of how things are in space, not necessarily like the changing of like the arms or the armor and stuff like that being different.
Yeah. And this is cool.
Little new for me, but
I love the what do you call it, a satchel, the hanging bag. That's a good touch. I wish well, I'll get into mine when we get into mine. But
I do wish I would have accessorized him a little more, but I also didn't want to like bog him down with too many. I didn't want to kill the flow. So
yeah, that is exactly how I felt about mine.
Yeah.
So my guy has a few accessories too, but way less, because if my inspiration sheet, like I had the kid from Up with all those buttons. I thought I'd like adorn this guy with tons of stuff. I ended up not doing that. I gave him a couple things, but
the buttons would have been cool on like the strap going across or something too, though. That would have been
like achievement badges or something.
Yeah, which I do throw in. You'll see his shirt. I do like a kind of goofy homage.
Right. All right, so here we go. It's always cool to see people's process.
This weirdly, this is not my normal process, but I really liked it. So I mean, it kind of is. I've been doing, so I learned from Hardy Fowler, and he does this like very darkens everything. He calls it like Hardy Orange, but he'll like render in orange just for, I don't know why he uses orange, but render in and start making the forms with that. This time I was like, I'm just gonna throw the multiply layer in right away, like the shadow, and like paint the light in for the forms, nice. Which worked pretty good. There's like I had to make some changes, like the way my process usually goes. I can put like undertones under the rendering is like lighter, and I can put like blood tones and stuff in the face like underneath. So this time I didn't do that. I had to like kind of color layer them in over the top.
Nice. I already like the blue. You switched your light layer to a bluish, like a cool light. That was a good choice. I like that. I like how the face. Yeah, I like how the face really changes plane, like around the mouth. Like this part down gets dark. Yeah, I like that.
I really liked the reference I used. I don't remember the exact reference, but I think it might have been like a Gwent card or something. But
oh, cool.
The background, like the background had this really cool like sunset color scheme that I kind of used, and like that kind of informed the blue light change too.
Nice. Yeah, my background is dead simple, as we'll find out. But yeah, your background already has more going on than mine. I got my guy just kind of in almost like in one of those like photography stages that are designed to be a bit flatter. But okay, nice. You got like an inner lining of the cloak.
Yeah, I think I tried to spice that up at some point, but I think I scrap it. I'll do some like still detail work, but I wanted to like get some real nice like photo texture-y like stuff in there more. And I think I scrapped it, but
nice. Let's see how this goes here.
I was really happy with how the cloak turned out. Because I usually have problems getting like nice flowing folds, and I don't know, like something clicked on this one for me where it just felt like a big level up.
Yeah, it's I had as we'll see in mine, I went back and forth with the wavy folds because like different thicknesses of fabric fold differently. Yeah, and that's always a challenge for me too. But no, this is nice. I like how it really adds to the silhouette.
Yeah. Yep. Definitely the goal there.
Yeah, it's a nicely designed silhouette. I like all the negative spaces are doing their job. I like the folds and like the crotch area of the pants too. That's nice. So we are okay. We got the book. The book's coming in for you, right? You just you're doing the pages now, or we're still
yeah. I kind of wasn't paying attention. I think I might have photo bashed a book in just to get some.
Yeah, I got some minor photo bashing in mine too. Kind of as you'll see, to get me started with some texture. I kind of photo bash in, then I paint. Yeah, just in some small areas. 2 areas in particular. I like the hanging belt. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, the old the Gandalf belt. I always remember that because also when I was in like high school, I think I had my dad's belt and it was way too long. So I would like tie it like that.
Nice. Oh, look at this. Okay, we got some magic here.
Oh yeah, you gotta spice it up.
Okay, I'm looking forward to showing to contrasting with how I dealt with like the magic part of this.
Yeah, and I went back and forth in this myself like quite a few times where I was like not so much on the canvas, but just in my head of like, should I do fire or lightning or some weird thing that changes colors a lot, or I wasn't sure what I wanted to do with it for a while.
Yeah.
It's pretty minor adjustments here. I can't even like tell what I'm working on right now.
You know who he looks like? Steven Seagal.
He kind of typed in. Now that you say that, he totally does.
It's that Steven Seagal.
I think I don't know if you've seen the South Park like World of Warcraft episode. That guy like crept into my head after a while too.
Absolutely.
But he totally looks like Steven Seagal now you say that.
I do the same thing with this. Like, this is a smart way to do this texture.
Well, and then I just didn't like that, so that's why I kind of scrapped it and just.
I guess when you skew it that much, you kind of lose it a bit.
Yeah, it's not like the biggest surface area either, so it's kind of like, it's not gonna.
It's not worth it.
Up.
Yeah. I got some graphics coming here. Oh, that's a cool little atmospheric effect.
So here I drew and decided he needed a calculator watch, like the Casio calculator watch.
I remember when those came out. I thought those were the coolest thing.
Yeah. Here's where I photo bashed the book in. Okay.
Yeah, it makes sense, man. For a little like to paint that, it's just not worth. I mean, just throwing a photo and then paint over it, which is exactly what you're doing.
Yeah. It's a weird skill. I wish I want to get better at it. But I feel like a lot of people think you can just throw a photo in and it looks good, and it's really like you have to know how to paint. You can't just throw stuff in there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
This hand gave me a little bit of trouble. I was trying to avoid like crab claw hand.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, hands are always tough. In fact, my character's hands were the last thing I roughed them in, but they were rough for so long. Then I just had to bite the bullet and like, okay, let's zoom in and figure out these hands a bit, And just like you, I probably have another maybe 30, 40 minutes of rendering to do on mine as well. But it's done. It's just I could tighten up a couple things.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is cool. I like the little lace part. That's nice.
I feel like I do that quite a bit. If there's an area where I think there's not enough like motion or something, it's fun to just throw a little like something that dangles or flows in the air.
Yeah, there's a lot. Yeah, that's smart. You had like compositional room for that. It's a smart place to put it. I love how the book is like glowing, like he's just cast a spell. Oh, this is cool. We dealt with the magic part totally differently, and I love it.
I'm excited to see that. There will be a jump kind of at the end here too. I was bad at like I kept forgetting. I do it in a lot of like sections, I kept forgetting to like hit record on like, so there's a little skips here and there. I think we already blew through a lot of them, but I think at the end there'll be like a fairly decent jump. It's nothing crazy, but. I was like getting the radial motion blur kind of in there.
Yeah, it's cool to see this is like how a visual effects artist would like go about. Oh, here we go. Nice. Oh, solid shirt choice.
Yeah, I wanted to do something that was like nerdy and classic, but not like fantasy. So
yeah,
sort of like he got sucked in to this thing on accident. And he wasn't like trying to do it. Just like, oh, I'm wearing my normal clothes. Added some like other details. Probably didn't see me paint, like there's a little water thing and like the
oh yeah. Oh, here we go. Mine just is done. Awesome, man. Good job. I love how it turned out great. First of all, good job.
Yeah, thanks.
I love how it's like, so basically it's like that's a representation of how he imagines his character to actually be in like a D&D campaign. Yeah. So mine is like how he actually is in real life. All right, so just to preface my process here, unlike you who's smartly thumbnailed, I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to start with the head and we're going to see how it goes. So I let the head inform the rest. And I didn't do any line drawing, just going as I usually don't, just going straight with painting. I was thinking about I don't know if you anyone who was ever into punk rock in the 90s probably knows the band No Effects.
Oh, that's super familiar. I can't picture them right now, but yeah.
Okay. Well, the person I had in my head was like the singer of No Effects. His name, he calls himself Fat Mike. And and he's disheveled with usually he has more of a mohawk, but that's the head I had in my mind.
Yeah, okay.
Not that it looks exactly like him. So I actually didn't pull up reference for the head for the most part. Like I had some reference for like where the flesh, you know, if someone's like really overweight, like where the flesh is, and I can reference like the shape of it, which is something that I'm somewhat familiar with, but I had reference for that. But in terms of the likeness, I was kind of just freeballing it, but with the image of Fat Mike in my mind. So I have this habit of when I paint eyes, I have this habit of opening them up real wide like this. Yeah. And then if I want eyelids, then I'll put the eyelids on it. Yeah. It's like structurally that makes sense to me. But in this case, I liked his expression with the wide eyes that I end up keeping it. Yeah. I try a few different looks because like I have no idea what the pose is going to be at this point. Yeah. I'm thinking like yours had that like he was casting magic from his hand, right? So I'm like, well, I had the same thought. Like he's going to be doing something with his hand that's magical. So I thought maybe he's looking up at a hand, and I'm glad I didn't go with it, which is good because you went with like a raised hand. Yeah. Mine ends up going lower. So, but I hadn't discovered that yet.
I already love how many colors you put in the face too.
Oh yeah, I probably spent 2 hours on the head. Yeah, something approximating 1 to 2 hours. I don't know. I can't remember exactly. Yeah. Just on the head part. And then the body comes together actually a lot quicker, which is cool. I actually learned this from Ian McKegg, who back in like 2004. Oh, yeah.
I've been meaning to get him on the channel at some point. He wants to. It's just he's very busy. So
yeah, he would be amazing. Yeah, but he in his Nomon DVDs, which I had from like 20 years ago, he would draw the head first, and he would draw the hands as well, and it kind of informed everything else. Yeah, and that has informed my process a lot over the years. I often do start with the head first.
Might have to try that sometime.
It's
very different.
Yeah. At this point, the likeness, the likeness, I guess, I'm starting to be like, okay, like that's him. Yeah. I end up changing like his hair. I end up putting a hood on him and stuff, but like this is him. And because it was, comic book guy from The Simpsons. See, like the skin has like a yellowish cast. Yeah, especially at the top. That was like the Simpsons homage.
Yep. Somebody actually, I showed somebody mine, like just a friend, and was kind of explaining the context. He's like, "Oh, if you would have turned the skin yellow, I would have recognized him." Oh, nice. As like comic book guy, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's like the human version of comic book guy. Yeah.
But I like how it's super yellow, but it still reads believably realistic. Like it's not like a cartoon. Just like it's like a cool stylization.
Yeah, it's like the light is doing it to his.
Yeah. I do like the disheveledness too as well.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I end up covering all that hair with a hood, but it is still informed the design, right?
Yeah.
Even if you end up erasing something.
Even the facial hair, it just looks very gritty.
Oh yeah. I feel like I could put my fingers through it and feel the patchiness of it, Now here we go.
Really
okay,
nice, so I like when you zoom out, it looks very like blended, but when you zoom in, it's very textured. Like that's a cool effect. I would have a hard time doing that, I think.
So here's the Ian McKegg hands, right? There's the hands, and then everything else comes in around all that. So head and hands. Yeah. Then the body just supports those. Like I truly believe that our poses are mostly head and hand based. Then the body just supports where those things are.
Oh, I love that. This looks like a Baroque chiaroscuro era. Like I love it so far.
That's crazy you say that because my kids have been really into this classical art book, like Baroque, Renaissance, and like that totally informed this. So solid eye on that.
But you did a great job. Like it looks really, really like it reminds me of like Baroque period, like masters, with the lighting and stuff.
Oh, thanks, man. So here's the first piece of reference, and it's clothing, like just clothing reference. Yep. It's funny. I ended up. Oh no, that was from my reference board. I ended up only using like 2 of my own reference board pictures. Yeah. Here comes the hood, and the hood is like stole it from the reference. I'm like, that hood is cool. Yeah.
Nothing wrong with stealing from references, and especially in pieces.
Yeah, that's what reference is for. You take pieces of it, not the whole thing. I end up struggling, and
Actually,
I think
really,
fixing.
sorry, I really like the pose that you ended up with, which
Thanks,
I
man.
might have to try that. It's super interesting to do it, not like have the face and hands inform the rest is a very different than what I'm used to
Yeah.
approach, but it could yield some cool stuff, I think.
Yeah, thanks. I end up struggling a bit with just the way. Okay, there's another reference. Just the way the cape hangs. I
Yeah.
end up really retooling this quite a bit, so I'll try and keep track of it as I go. I don't. What I really don't like at this point is the cape on the left side of the picture doesn't feel like it's obscuring the silhouette. It doesn't feel right. I end up really tweaking that. So there's a photo bash. So how I dealt with the magic was, I figure he has mastered one trick, and the trick is
Yeah.
he's able to produce a flame from his hand, but it's just like a barbecue lighter that he's kind of got hidden.
Yeah.
And like he can whip this out at cons, right? Go like, hey, and like produce a little flame.
Yeah.
It's not in this one, but right at the end, like this morning, I'm like, maybe I should actually have the end of a barbecue lighter, like a little, like a lighter,
Yeah, a little
like
towel,
from his
yeah.
fingers. I end up not doing that in this time lapse, but I may add that.
Yeah.
But it's just
I
like this
love
little parlor trick he's got down. Okay, yeah, there we go. There goes the cape. And now I'm like, it folds, using that reference. Yeah, it folds in like these big cylinders. And I start working that. I hear it. I end up not doing this. I'm like, I want leather on it, but I just didn't know where. So I end up going with like the Tarzan pad there
Yep.
as leather.
Yeah, I think leather armor in particular, I tend to, it's easy to overcomplicate it and you want to get like cool shapes, but then more often than not, it's like I could probably use more rest areas when I do it.
Yeah. Well, I end up actually really complicating the upper pad. I make it chainmail. That's coming in later.
Oh, nice.
So we'll see how that works.
Chainmail is always cool. Yep.
And again, the chainmail idea was from the reference that's in the background right now. She has that chainmail. So here's the other photo bash. Just started off with a photo bash and then kind of work it in. And then from here, I'll go crazy and delete a bunch of stuff, render a bunch of stuff. Work it in. I ended up flattening that down, which I was scared of at first. I'm like, oh.
Yep.
Okay. I think I made an important silhouette adjustment. His right arm, you can see the elbow poking out of the fabric there. Yeah. That was, I think, an important move. And I end up managing that better as I go. That was a discovery that I think really helped. The fabric's not dropping properly yet, but it will. I'll fix that later.
Yeah, I think it's super interesting if you don't do like I had to do an anatomy underdrawing first. But if you don't do that, you can kind of still make it work just by adjusting until it does work where you need it with like painting. Like I would have a hard time doing that. But like jumping straight to painting, I would think you'd get good at like making it work for you, if that makes sense.
Yeah, like I'm always thinking about the understructure, and like you said, I manage it with the paint to varying degrees of success. Finally, the silhouette is starting to work for me, like the obviously the outer, which I'm now zoomed in from. But oh yeah, this is here we are. We are a few minutes away from the end. I end up zooming in on the face twice to finalize it. This is part one of that. Then right at the end, I do some more work on the head. Yeah, the silhouette is finally starting to work now, in my opinion. Still dealing with how the cape folds on the left side of the picture. Still dealing with exactly how that comes down. Oh yeah, so here's where I ratcheted down. I'm like, I need to just reference my own hand here.
Yep.
And just like, how does the light hit it?
Oh yeah, you got good lighting reference there too. Yep.
Yeah, it's like I could draw that, but the lighting always throws things off on hands. Like, hands are so complex, as everyone knows.
That's a good reference photo too. You got some nice like subsurface scattering and stuff.
Yeah, I just put my lamp just under my hand and took a shot. This was this morning. This paint that what you're watching now is this
really?
morning.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. I really like how the cape on the right side, like the texture on the fabric turned out too. That's super.
Oh, thanks. There was a lot of like dotty brushes and stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, what am I doing here? Oh, another hand. The other hand. There's the look. I'm holding the remote. See, in my other hand, I'm holding the Bluetooth remote to take the picture.
Yep.
Yeah, this is just fiddly drawing stuff. Like how does, where exactly are the fingers? And this is where, like, if I do another, say, hour of work on this, I'll make the hands, they get better than this, but
Yeah.
I'll just enhance them a little bit.
I like the little potion.
Oh yeah, that I
File.
forgot to record that. Yeah. He's got a potion, he's got like a little knife casing. I don't even know what that is on the other side.
I really love his facial expression. That's like my favorite part.
Yeah, thanks. It starts there for sure. Yeah, if that didn't work,
it almost looks like he's surprised that it's working. Like, oh.
Yeah, don't spoil the illusion now. No. So at this point, I start to realize, and I think you can even see me block it in at some point. I'm like, oh, I can have like the end of a lighter coming down from his hand.
Yeah.
Like he's hiding it between his fingers.
Yeah.
So I think that'd be a funny little thing to add, but oh yeah, no, this is the end, because this is where I'm just working on the last bits of his head.
After viewing both videos, I guess, like, how are you feeling about the experience in general? Like, what do you think? I had a ton of fun, as I always do.
Yeah.
I loved the prompt. It was really, really fun to think about.
It was tons of fun, and yeah, there was pressure too. We're knowing like someone else is like taking this real seriously, and I got to show up. Not that it felt like a contest, but it felt like if you got to be accountable, right?
Yes,
and
exactly.
That was an interesting twist to the whole thing that I never really experienced. So that was fun.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it, because the theme of the channel is sort of like a contest, but not really. It's like it's sort of that, but to your point, like, there is an accountability there.
Yeah.
For sure. But yeah, I wanted to ask you like some questions about your process and stuff, and I'm sure you'll talk about that more in your video specifically. But like, your process is so different from mine. I feel like I don't even know where to start in some ways. You get some really awesome. I love the like the lack of like polish in certain areas. Like, you only have polish where it needs to be, and it like makes it really energetic and like loose, and like a way that's hard to do. At least for me. I know like other artists struggle with like over rendering and stuff too, but like looking at like towards the end, there's a lot of nice like contrast, like color contrast, value contrast, and like texture in the areas that you want people to look. Mm-hmm. And there's just like this like loose stuff happening elsewhere. It's really cool. Maybe that's like a benefit of going straight into painting and like focusing on the areas that matter first, and then kind of letting things fall.
Yeah, that's why I don't start with. That's exactly right. That's why I don't start with lines, because nothing wrong with it. But you start with lines, everything is equally there. And for me, I'm like, I'm gonna start with nothing, and I'll decide where to dial it up to 10. You know?
I didn't think about that, but like lines definitely kind of, if you have them there, they sort of demand like, it's like, well, I gotta that portion has to be like clean because there's a line there that needs to be represented. But if you don't have it there, you don't have to do that. So that's interesting. I wonder if I could do a hybrid process where I like draw the lines and then erase out stuff, or at least make it blurry or something.
I was gonna say, when I do work for a client who, usually I'll do like a rough and I'll have like a line drawing. When I go to paint that, I do exactly that. I have my lines on a layer, like I'm sure you do. But as I go, I start erasing my line drawing so I don't see it anymore, because the paint then informs it more. So even when I start with a line drawing, I'm very quick to get rid of that line drawing.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Because I usually just like slowly lower the opacity until the lines like aren't needed anymore, but they're sharp. They're still sharp there. So like it either like blurring out where they don't need to be sharp, or I don't know.
I make a layer mask, and I just use a layer mask to erase the lines. And then if I need them back, it's a layer mask, right? I can just bring them back.
That's a smart way to do it. I'll have to try that. Kind of on similar lines, like I noticed, I rewatched like the first little part of your process. Do you think about, like, are you thinking about shapes? Or are you thinking about form immediately? It looked like you went into form pretty quickly. It wasn't like blocking out shapes for the whole thing. It was like and we talked about you start with the head and then went to the hands, but like barely you had the shape of the face in there, and you were like doing nose, like you were getting to form almost immediately, like more like sculpting than painting in some ways.
That's right. Yeah. I get the form. I think of the form immediately. Yep.
Okay.
And shape, shape comes after. For me, shape comes after form.
Yeah.
The shape has to be good in the end. Like that's in the end. The shape needs to be king, kind of. But the form tells me the 3D, and then I'll just chop out what the final shape is.
Yeah. Okay.
I actually do a lot of sculpting on the side, like as a hobby, like with actual clay and not so much in 3D. And it's obviously with sculpting, you're feeling that form. So painting and sculpting to me are just the same, just different mediums.
Yeah, for sure. I would like to. I've never tried sculpting seriously, like with. I like learned Blender a little bit recently. I bet it's like it's more like hard surface stuff, and then I would love to just get some clay though and play around with that.
It's like I can grab one, drop the bass. It's like there's Kent Mansley from the Iron Giant.
Yeah.
But I like with sculpture because you can, it's real life. It gives me the shapes for free, but you can kind of rotate them around and say, okay, what is the form doing there? What's the form? What are the shapes the form is giving me from all these different angles?
Yeah,
and,
for sure.
It's a cool way to engage with shape, I find.
It probably I'm assuming it just makes you better at rendering forms and stuff too. Like you're downloading that information when you are feeling that and
you become very clear with the planes of things.
Yes.
Like I use this tool here just like to chop out planes and then your fingers to kind of smooth them out.
Yeah. And I'll give that a try. So there's never enough time to do stuff, but
Well, in yours, you obviously you took a different route where you had the line drawing first, so you kind of had your shapes first, and then you thought of form. So I guess my question is for you, when you start thinking about form, do your shapes ever change?
That is a good question. They can. I think usually they change if my brain starts to notice that something is just wrong. Not necessarily wrong from the from a technical side. Oh, that shape looks cool, but that the arm in that position or whatever, just it's not going to make sense once it's in 3D. And it's even if I left it as a line drawing, no one would probably notice. It'd probably be oh, that actually looks fine. But when you start adding shadows or overlapping certain things, you're oh, the spatial there's interference. Things aren't working the way they're supposed to. So I don't typically. I don't think the form necessarily changes that. I'm always thinking about the shapes because, like you said, shape is king in illustration design and concept design. So I'm constantly adjusting the shapes. They change throughout the process if I feel like they're not optimized after the first layout as I'm going. But I don't usually change shapes because of form unless it's some egregious error that I made where things are just not. Nice, it's like a MC Escher effect where it's it looks fine 2D, but then if you tried to make a model, it wouldn't work.
It wouldn't work. Yeah. By the end of my process, I'll let the shapes change the form, a kind of similar. When I have the shapes in there, I'll be this shape would be better if this, and then I'll say, okay, shape wins, so let's change the form or change whatever. But at the start, the shapes are not quite in my head yet.
Yeah. I do think paint first. I'm just the things I love about your painting are all, I think, sort of based off of the throwing down the paint first. I don't even know how I would begin to approach that chiaroscuro Renaissance look without doing that. I don't know. Maybe you'd have I'm sure there's ways to do it. But it's just, I don't know. I'm struggling to think of if I used my process, how I would get that in.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the thing about process, right? Every process yields a different result.
Yeah.
So I stumbled upon my process from my inspirations, from my own proclivities, I guess. And I probably wouldn't, watching you work in your way, I probably wouldn't be able to do your way inherently well. Whereas for you, it seemed to fit really well for the way you worked.
But I really want to. You've inspired me to try. I want to try your process and just see how it goes.
Yeah.
Just on some practice throwaway paintings. Because I think there's always you can always take pieces of it that you like and use it in your flow.
Oh yeah.
I like to try. I probably try to upgrade or like evolve my process almost too much. When you're doing professional stuff, it's hard because it's like if you're doing that too much, you need consistency for certain projects and stuff, and like things can get a little messy. But I feel like for me, it's always that battle of like I want to try the new stuff and upgrade this or get new looks, but then you want to keep it consistent for other reasons.
Yeah.
But I really want to try it. I think it'll be fun to see what I learn from that, and like maybe integrate it into, if nothing else, maybe I'll learn like at the end I can throw in some like more texture loose areas and just kind of like ruin stuff that I like had there that was like too sharp or over rendered or something.
Yeah. No, yeah, it certainly would be, it would almost certainly lead to some kind of discovery if you gave it a shot. You might not like half of it, and you might like a little tidbit of like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Are you familiar with the Bruce Lee quote? I think it's like, no, it's not hanging up, but it's over there. It's like, absorb what is useful, discard what is not, and add what is uniquely your own. That one always just hits me really hard. I love that quote. And he's talking about martial arts, but I think it applies to everything else too. So
yeah, that's the thing I've learned about learning from other artists is you can never be another artist. You can only be you. So you can learn, you can try your best to steal from another artist, but ultimately it's going to be your own in the end.
Well, and I don't think you'd want to be a clone of another artist anyway.
Yeah.
Like
at first, I think people, I mean, I can tell you for me, I when I first started, I wanted to be a clone of other artists.
Oh yeah,
but like,
exactly. Yeah.
But very quickly, well, maybe over a couple of years, you're like, oh, I actually can't do that.
Yeah, and
I don't
like,
have their brain.
To me, it was like I thought I wanted to be like it changed all the time. It was like there was a point where I was like, oh, I want to be Jim Lee, exactly. Yeah. But now it's like even if I could do, I want to perform on the same like technical level, but I don't want to just have his exact style or his exact like decisions, because like that's not even fun. So
exactly, what's the point? Yeah. Awesome, Jake. Well, thanks a lot for having me on the show.
Hey guys, big thank you to Marco for being on the channel. It was an absolute pleasure. Would love to have him on again. And a big announcement: art cards are now available at my Etsy shop. They're really premium art cards. They're very sturdy. They have a really beautiful gold embossing on them. Check them out. Link in the description below. Thanks.